Hello, and thank you for tuning in today. We are joined by Marcia Gaborowski, Director of Business Development for Livingston County with Ann Arbor SPARK. Welcome, Marcia.
Thanks for having me, Diane.
Oh, well, thanks for coming in. It's definitely a Monday today. Why don't you take a quick moment to introduce yourself and share your career path that led you to Ann Arbor SPARK, along with the work that Ann Arbor SPARK does and why it's so vital to this community and all the communities that you serve in Michigan.
With pleasure. So Ann Arbor SPARK is a regional economic development organization. We are contracted by the Economic Development Council of Livingston County. So I am staff to a local nonprofit here in the county. And their goal is to work with our communities for healthy placemaking, as well as working with our industries and our businesses on attracting right businesses into Livingston County, as well as supporting and retaining and helping to our current businesses to grow. So a lot of what I do, I am a conduit for resources, for programs. We focus really on what those needs are today of our businesses and our communities. The last couple of years, it's been talent. So we pivot a lot and we work on various programs, both at the state, local, and at the federal levels on how we can support our businesses, large and small, of acquiring talent. Sometimes a business wants to diversify their sales. They'd like to grow. They might need to diversify into new industries. And so there are programs out there that we can help connect businesses to make sure that they're taking full advantage of the potential that they want to be. Throughout Livingston County, we do have a lot of industrially zoned property. So we help market that. Sometimes it's partnering with brokerage firms or private property owners. But we do work to make sure that businesses interested in coming into Michigan know about Livingston County and that we're finding the right industries for our communities. So a little bit about what I do here. I've been in this role for 5 years, so it's great doing what I do here, my hometown. And I love coming on here and just giving updates. And so we have been pretty busy the first half of this year. The biggest highlight that I wanted to talk about, was excited to, was Ann Arbor SPARK. We are Washtenaw County and we do work here in Livingston County, but we had our annual meeting last month. And I was very pleased to see that one of our business development project of the year was the partnership between Ann Arbor SPARK and the city of Brighton. And in 2020, the city of Brighton reached out to Ann Arbor SPARK, and through the relationship that we have with the EDC board, they wanted something similar for the city of Brighton. Their DDA has grown over the years. It pretty much encompasses the entire city of Brighton, and wanted to have an expert, perhaps, with a little bit more background, like the weight and the resources that SPARK as an organization carries. And so we partnered, and we have contract staff that is full-time working in the city of Brighton, but they're a SPARK employee, so they report to me, and Denise does a wonderful job. She's an outside-of-the-box thinker, and they have created an app to support retailers and to help collaborate with marketing across the entire city and across the full DDA district. So just a lot of exciting things, and we were happy to highlight some of the work that is a little bit out of the box. We've pivoted since COVID, so there's been more focus on our small businesses, more of our customers, like our Main Street businesses. Okay. Primarily I work with businesses whose customers are other businesses, so our manufacturers, maybe our tech and medical device companies. So it was really refreshing to see a lot of excitement and a great award for the city of Brighton and the work that they have been doing.
Well, and I feel like that's that's truly an award for the entire county. I mean, that's bringing people into
Very
this region.
So.
I mean, when you're in Brighton, you're so close to Howell, Heartland, pretty much the entire region. So it truly is, I think, a win for the entire county itself.
Yes.
And that's exciting that, you were, and it sounds like there were so many working parts within that whole process. So definitely was a labor of love, and
2 years in the making.
Wow.
Yes. And yeah.
and during COVID
And during COVID.
to boot.
Yeah. And my goal for this year is continuing to bring more eyes into Livingston County. And that's from a home builder perspective, that's from a resident perspective, that's also from a business perspective. So the more eyes in Livingston County, you know, as we see development come west, as you know, out of Metro Detroit, or looking into new to Michigan altogether, people might be relocating, businesses might be relocating or settling into new regions. This is a great place to set up a business, big or small. And we have so many resources to make sure that those businesses are successful. And being a part of the leadership team for the Howell Chamber, I'm able to provide so much more with our businesses, and just giving that one-on-one attention that sometimes they really do need, or they might need a mentor or a partner or just somebody else that experienced it to talk to.
Oh, absolutely.
And we can be that conduit for that.
And I mean, that, like you said, that truly is it's a vital resource, because a lot of times, you know, you said it yourself, you deal more with the business to business aspect of it, where a lot of times people don't know where to turn, and they don't know what to ask, or, I mean, they know that something's not working, but they don't really understand what's not working, where to go, how to ask the questions. So to have Ann Arbor SPARK, and to have you on our board, that's just a tremendous resource. And the work you do, really, it's vital to the entire county. And it's, I mean, yes, you're building business, but you're also creating that quality of life for the county, which I would think is what attracts businesses and industries to want to come to a new region.
Yes, it absolutely does. And I'm glad you hit on that with strong communities and working on placemaking and supporting our community strategic projects, and being almost like a third hand for our communities to get a project, or you know, if they might need a grant for a park or something. The state of Michigan launched about $100 million in ARPA funds earlier this year for what was called the Revitalization and Placemaking Grant, or RAP grant. And these were pretty sizable funds, between $500,000 and up to $5 million for eligible projects. And 2 projects SPARK supported the application for and provided support letters. The city of Brighton submitted a RAP grant, and so did the city of Howell. And we're fingers crossed that Livingston County does see some of the dollars coming into our own communities through that program. And I know Livingston County is also still accepting applications for their ARPA dollars from external nonprofits through the end of June. So there is an application for any projects or programs that any of our local nonprofits do think could benefit from some local ARPA dollars. Certainly there is still time to make a request into Livingston County, and the Board of Commissioners continues to evaluate those applications for the county's allocation of ARPA dollars. So keeping our finger on that.
Well, that's great information, and the end of June is right around the corner, so it's
is.
not a whole lot, not a whole lot of time. But for those maybe those nonprofits or even those businesses that might not know what the ARPA funds are, what is that funding, and how did it come about?
The American Rescue Plan.
Oh, I didn't mean to put you on the spot with
Yeah,
that.
no, I think it's called the American Rescue Plan.
I think it is, yeah.
So there were CARES. CARES was the first kind of post-COVID support bills. ARPA was that next tranche of funding. And ARPA, every community got an allocation of funding. So all of our townships, cities, and villages got their own allocation. A lot of our communities are investing it in infrastructure. So I know there is a lot of broadband expansion in some of our communities here throughout the county. But Livingston County has a tranche of funds where, again, it's infrastructure, but it's also supporting our communities, or building resiliency within our communities. So that could look like more human services support, early education, but also business resiliency. So how could there be any programs, again, to support business resources, startups, and so I know a few pretty interesting applications that again, would really continue to keep Livingston set apart from some of these out-of-the-box ideas that I like seeing happen through our collaboration.
If someone or if a business or a nonprofit wants to apply for the ARPA funds, how do they go about doing that? Is there an application online?
There is an application. The easiest way is I can put them in touch with our county administrator, Nathan Bird. But yeah, he would be able to provide an application. I don't believe there's a link that we could share, but the application is still available.
Well, that's one. Well, Nathan's actually coming on next week, so we'll
Perfect.
we'll get all the information
Yeah.
from him on that. But I do know that you work in so many diverse different areas to all for the same goal, but there's a lot of different avenues to get to that goal. So you have just completed your Livingston County benchmark study.
We did. So one of the things that I love being a part of Ann Arbor SPARK is we go for the data. Data tells the story. How can we tell Livingston's story through data that separates us from everybody else? And so when we look at studies like the benchmark study, this is something that we did in 2018. So this is an update to that. And what we did was we compared Livingston County to 8 other counties within the state of Michigan, so similar size and similar demographics, as well as 8 similarly sized counties across the nation. And we looked at everything from land area, population, down to industry base, wages. So it really gives an opportunity to tell the story from a quick bird's eye view from a business that might not know anything about Livingston County. So it does provide an opportunity to tell that story quickly. But then it's also good information for our own communities and our own leaders to have. So it is something that we'll be publishing on our website probably in the next week.
Well, I love that. Data tells the story, and it's
Yes.
so true. And I love to have paper, and I love to have numbers written on it so I can check them off and compare. So you also work very closely with Michigan Works.
We do. We like to be a close partner to Michigan Works, especially as we meet with businesses frequently, bringing them and the resources that they have available for businesses. And just about a week ago, the Michigan Works here in Livingston County opened up their new facility off Byron Road in Howell. And it's a great space for businesses to come and speak with staff about their talent needs and how Michigan Works might be able to help, but as well as a place for job seekers to come and look through the state's job portal, which many of our employers use here in Livingston County. I think as of today, we have about 1,100 job postings here in the county.
I just got the report. I think
Yeah.
that's very accurate.
And so it's a great resource, and I look forward to spending more time there and working with Michigan Works and bringing more employers through to make sure that they know of the resources available through that system.
Wonderful, and it is a beautiful building. So thank you so much for coming on today. And for our listeners, if anybody is interested in getting a hold of Ann Arbor SPARK, they can always contact the chamber, and we can put you in contact with Marcia.
I love it.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Ann.